Welcome to Shop Talk, where we chat about what's going on in our businesses right now, what's exciting, and what's challenging. When something exciting happens, we want to ensure we're taking a moment to recognize and celebrate our successes. And when things are challenging, talking through them to gather each other's perspective is often so insightful.
If you're going through any of these challenges at the moment as well, we hope that by sharing openly, you know you're not alone and that as business owners, we're all navigating this crazy journey together. So, welcome to this month's Shop Talk. For anybody who listened to last month's Shop Talk, Whitney was about to head out on a wonderful trip to Greece, and I said, listen, if if I don't see a day by day behind the scenes, like take me along with you trip update while you were on this trip, it is a fail. And ladies and gentlemen, I am here. I am here to say I forgot that Whitney was in Greece because I did not see pretty much anything. So, Whitney, first and foremost, how was Greece? Let's just start there with the honest feedback.
No, first and foremost, I posted 2 days and you missed it.
And well, let's just say this is a reason, ladies and gentlemen, for consistent posting because it's so easy to miss one post from people you follow and actually care about seeing what they're sharing. So yeah, there's that.
I will say here's what they did accomplish, which is not going to appease you. All my photos are organized so that I can get them over to my marketing person. So I've gone through, cleaned them all up, and this is actually why Instagram sucks. This is why I don't get it done. It's because it's not just post on Instagram. It's take the photos, go through all the photos that you create or that you took, get rid of the bad ones, keep the good ones, then load them into Instagram. I actually hate that I have to do that extra step now. Then actually post, think about what I'm going to write. It's this multi-step process that when I'm on a fan, my brain is just So, but I also have already left notas, voice notes for my marketing person on every single destination and my thoughts on the hotel. So she's already turning that into marketing content. So I did do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and kept up on that. And I have had every intention to post on Instagram this week. And the reality is that my inbox is bonkers. I know, excuses.
Yeah.
I know. Greece was great. Loved it.
I want your potential clients to know it too. So that is listen, I know it's a hard thing to do. It's also a hard habit, I think, to get into of learning how to kind of make that part of the fam trip. And I think for a person who kind of just knows that that's what they do and is used to doing it that way, it becomes a lot easier. I have a specific method of how I planned before, what I do when I'm on traveling, and I'm just used to it. The same way, some people wake up and they put on makeup and do their hair every day. And here I show up to a podcast interview being like, whoa, I look homeless. Because I am not used to the habit. And so I think it's somewhat similar. So, I think kudos to having still a plan. And I hope that plan unfolds and that you're able to showcase this part of Greece in a way that is inspiring and aspiring to your clients and future clients. And also for anybody who kind of is I should do more when I'm traveling, it really is a muscle you have to build and a commitment you have to make to yourself. And also very much easier to follow a plan. Most of my social content is pre-written out and pre-thought of. I change it based on okay, well, I didn't actually even like this oyster tasting experience, so what do I really want to say about it, But
You didn't like it? Do you not like oysters?
I tolerate oysters. I want to be a person who likes oysters, but then sometimes I'm that's a little much.
I really like oysters, so I really want to do this. I saw you do it, and then I had clients doing it this summer as well, and I was
it's a really cool experience.
I like oysters.
Yeah, it's a really cool experience, but better if you really dig oysters, because the whole point is they're so fresh and so amazing that I don't get all the extra stuff that I cover up the taste of oysters when I just get a little squeeze of lemon. That's it. And I'm like, but what about what I usually do to my oysters? So the experience is cool. The taste of it, you could tell by my face, was Is a lot. Is a lot. They were big. They were big oysters. But yeah, so usually I kind of have so much pre-work done that it's kind of like filling in the blanks almost for me. Um, and a lot of like,
Can you tell me what you mean by pre-work? Because I have a strategy. Like I know, like I'm really, really good at capturing
mhm,
content. I have my camera. I'm really good at capturing like video content, both just like energy vibe, B-roll kind of videos, as well as like a room tour and stuff. I got photos. Oh, this is something else that I did that I executed very well. Thank you very much. Is that starting on my fam earlier this year, I sometimes feel too much pressure to like always look really nice and be in the perfect spot to get the perfect picture to take pictures of
mhm,
me. And I just decided that like that's too much pressure and it's never going to happen because the reality is I don't put makeup on at home, so I don't show up on a trip and suddenly put makeup on. So I commit to one good photo of myself every single day. And if you're on a 10 or a 12-day trip, like that's really all you
oh
need
yeah,
is if you come home with like 10 solid photos of you to use of you in destination doing the things, and then I'll get a couple videos here and there. But that commitment has stuck and it's worked. And I did it again this time. I have one good photo of me from every day. So you see me in different outfits and different doing different things, you know, all the stuff.
yeah,
So then I cannot feel bad. Like I don't have a picture of me on a boat, but I have a picture of me in Hanya. And so I just kind of like released the guilt of like, I didn't really want one in my swimsuit, but I had one of me in the town that I love so much.
that's good. Yeah,
So I did do well with that. And you'll see those when it starts coming up in like the marketing content. It's so I have a strategy. It's the execution part that is it's a time thing. It's I have 60 minutes to myself between now and dinner. And I have to like shower, get ready, respond to emails, get back to the client who's bugging me. Oh, those people are traveling and they have a question. Or sit down and post Instagram. Like
Blech.
Instagram is never happening. I actually don't know how you aren't distracted by the rest of your to-do list when you're traveling.
Right.
That's very stressful for me.
I think it is a I'll give the caveat that I keep the rest of my quote unquote to-do list very light when I'm traveling because I consider traveling the to-do list. I consider like, especially on a fam, the work of the fam, doing all of that like day-to-day meetings, talking to people, 3-hour dinners, all that is work. So I try and clear out my plate from all other client specific work as much as possible. So I will say the ability and the kind of like way that I do that allows for different type of work to take precedence, meaning there's very little client work that's on my plate because I know the actual, itinerary of the fam and the marketing component, which I find to be kind of like the other big piece of the fam, is such a priority for like those 10 days. And everything else just is not, or it's been delegated, right? So like the things that I normally do in the workflow, that part is delegated if I am on a fam trip because the work that I'm doing for those 10 days is different. But
Yeah, I've never successfully been able to fully delegate everything that's on my plate, even if it's not what I delegate at home.
mhm,
Like, I guess on my team, our roles remain the same whether I'm traveling or not. Like at home, I do these things, and like maybe there's a couple things, like a couple small things that someone will step in and do for me when I'm gone. But the majority, if they're not doing it while if they were doing it while I'm away, then I would have them doing it while I'm home.
yeah,
Like if they're not doing it while I'm home, it's because they're either not ready for it, I haven't delegated it. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Am I making any sense?
you are making sense. I think part of it is if you really, and not like don't do this tomorrow or something like that. But if you take like the things that you do when you're on a fam, like one by one, and just even ask yourself as like as an exercise or a way to like, would this be possible for somebody else to do if I equipped them properly? Like, would they be able to answer this email? Would they be able to get this thing done if they had the proper kind of like instructions and information. Is it even possible? Then you at least have a list of like things that you are doing, because that's just how like the business is set up, and like somebody else hasn't been trained or taught to do them. But if they were, could they handle it? And maybe that means that like for those 10 days, their role is a little bit stretched. I know that like the people on my team have to work a little bit harder when I'm out of the office, because it is a redistribution of getting everything done without like me in the office. But it's the same when they go on vacation and I take back on tasks that still need to be done. I don't want to do them, but like that's the kind of nature of a small business. Now, it works a little bit differently because like most of us know how to do everything from A to Z, even if we're a little rusty. So the goal, I think, is to say, what are the things that like actually could be done? And maybe it's a little bit of instruction or, conversation like, hey, this is what needs to be done. XYZ is kind of like my instruction for it or my input on it or what have you. Now you go ahead and handle it. But I think just asking those questions.
The things that were keeping me busy were some pretty high profile trip designs, which wouldn't be handed off.
And did they have to be done in those 10 days?
Well, when someone calls you and says they want to spend 150 grand, I get it done.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
Did they have to? No. Was I going to say, I'll be back in 12 days? No.
Right.
Also, no.
Right.
So, and I guess that's my choice, right? Like in that moment, that's more important to me than marketing.
Yeah.
That's a repeat client. I know they're not messing around. I know they're serious. They're ready to book what they're asking to book. I let that take priority.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say most of my marketing content and whatever gets done between the end of dinner and me closing my eyes. That's normally kind of like how I operate.
By then my brain is mush.
I can do it on a mush brain. But to your point of how I plan for it, so like when I am at the end of say October, I'm mapping out what November looks like in terms of marketing, social, blogs, newsletter, etc. And at the beginning of the mapping out is what is going on that month that I will want to be sharing about, either trips, whatever. So there's like specific kind of like stakes in the ground for each month of either, holidays, personal travel, events, what have you, birthdays, different things that I know I'm going to talk about on social media. So if I have a trip, then it's like, what kind of trip is this? What are the things that I want to talk about? Like I'll look through the itinerary and literally pull out what I think I'm going to talk about. Like that's the hotel I'm going to highlight, that kind of like day in the life while I'm in Croatia. That's the last trip I went on. That's what I'm going to talk about. Like I have like those ideas, and then I have kind of an attempt. It's not, like I said, I will tweak it after I have the experience, but I will also say that I can 90% of the time write out the caption that I'm going to share from, oyster tasting in Stalin, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And also the shots that I want to get for that. So I'll have like, this is going to be a carousel. This is going to be a reel. This is going to be a voiceover. This is going to be a static picture. This is a caption, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, I'm 80% of the way there before I even go on the trip. I have everything already set up. And then, yes, I take the pictures, whatever. And then to your point of having a marketing person on your team, if the setup is, okay, Tuesday night, I'm sending you these photos. Here's the caption. And then they're responsible for the post the next day on stories or what have you. You can have that like in the moment flow that maybe isn't your normal marketing flow, but that this is your like when I'm on location. And I do want to have some like in the moment moments that they know kind of like next day post this, next day post that, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I don't ever really hand off stories because I don't know how they would know what to say about those stories because they weren't there. So that feels like more work to hand that off. So I'm generally thinking that I'm posting live stories.
Yeah, that works out well.
And then I'm taking photos and reading voice notes while I'm there so that that's the content that's coming probably like a month after my trip. So that those will be the grid posts, the newsletters, the blogs. Like that'll be the more like long-term content. So that always happens. It's the stories that fall through. Anything that relies on me is going to fall through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Is there parts of Greece that you are now excited to sell more of that you have been there and seen in person? Nice.
Well, I knew that I loved Crete before I even got there, and that just
Confirmed it.
solidified my love of Crete. I love
It's
Crete.
great.
It was really interesting to visit more of mainland Greece, Thessaloniki up north, and then like Meteora, Metsovo. This is all like really full of history and nature and forests and like beautiful hotels, and so that was really interesting. I don't think that that area is for every client. I'm not going to suddenly like stick it into every Greece itinerary, but it is really good to know about, and it's a place that now that I can speak from it about it from personal experience, I think I can definitely recommend it. It's not a place that I would have been recommending without having been there, just because it's not a place that everyone goes. Corfu was really interesting.
Nice.
I think Crete is more my vibe, but it was good to see Corfu to be able to, because sometimes Greece decisions are made by logistics, right? So like Corfu is really easy. Like we went from the forests of Metsovo, drove to the coast, took a ferry, and suddenly we're in Corfu. So like logistically, not my favorite island, but logistically works really well in mainland Greece. So sometimes decisions are made that way,
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I loved all of it, and I will be back to explore more. I really love Greece.
Yay. Well, that's good. Nice.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Oh yes, I saw you posted on Instagram about your business mastermind thing.
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. That was last week. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
Yeah, so the high level mastermind that I joined for this year had 2 in-person retreats, one in the spring and one in the fall. And then throughout the year, there's Zoom calls, one-on-one meetings with the person who runs it. So it's a mix of different levels of support and types of interaction, community, etc. I find in-person retreats really, really valuable because you never really know like what you're going to get from it. But it also is an opportunity, doing another thing I love, of just stepping away from day to day and vision casting and kind of like working things out in real time, getting feedback, getting pushback even, and saying, hey, like, what is next, or what do I want to like focus on? But what I really loved about this particular retreat and timing is that there was a lot of kind of 2026 planning in October, which I love a good like year-end plan for next year, etc. But there's also something to say about forcing myself to do it in October and getting that kind of clarity a little bit earlier, and the action that needs to be done in order for a lot of things to kind of move forward and happen and be implemented in 2026. Kind of like getting the ball rolling now seemed like the right time to do it and seemed appropriate. I think especially for us from a numbers standpoint, right? Like I had to take the time because I had to come in with my numbers, like overall revenue and expenses and owner's pay and profit margin and all of those things. And for most of us, I can tell you within a 5% swing what the year is going to look like. I'm not planning anything for 2025 still. So yes, I'll do some planning fees still, but by and large, I'll guesstimate those and I'll be within 5%. I know my numbers, so I can really understand and analyze how this year was, what changes I want to make for next year, and really, really have a clear picture. There's not really a need to do it at the end of December, even though that's normally when I do it. So I think a lot of that retreat at this time was about that, looking at your numbers, kind of making a plan for, and I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around, because I have an idea of the next podcast solo episode I want to record. You're really working back from what do I want to pay myself next year, and then starting from there and making the plan for next year. I want to kind of make sure advisors understand, like, it is the number one number to be focused on and have it drive strategy and vision is what you pay yourself, more so than what you sell, more so than what revenue was. All of those things are important to know and important to track and important to like strive for. But if at the end of the day, like what goes in your pocket is not your focus, I think you're kind of coming about it in the wrong way. So I did a lot of that number kind of stuff and goal setting and team kind of dynamics as well. I think I focused on as well, trying to get some like outside perspective and on that kind of thing, which is evolving as always.
What do you feel like has been some of your biggest takeaways being in all of these calls and these in-person events with business owners that are outside the travel industry?
That's a good question. I mean, there's the opportunity to see things from like, you know, people who are really, really smart, who are not in the industry, but are like savvy business people. I think the interesting thing about this group in particular is there's a lot of coaches that have an ability to kind of like speak into somebody else's like situation, but like from different perspectives. Like one person, her business is literally like coaching, but from like a spiritual, intuitive like type of realm, which is a little woo for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay, but like really, let's just look at a spreadsheet. You're telling me like I got to figure out like my human design and how I'm like if I'm a I don't even remember all the phrases and stuff, but it's a lot. It's interesting, and also it makes you pause and think. So I think that getting perspective and ideas on somebody who's looking at your business from not the lens that we look at it through has been helpful. And then also in terms of team and org charts and things like that, like they just have different perspective because I think we kind of look at it from a very narrow perspective or how other people do it or what other people and that especially for me at this stage has been helpful to okay, well, what is a comp plan that makes sense? What is a bonus structure that makes sense? What is like things like that has been a benefit from people outside the industry for sure.
What are you going to like apply or bring into your business?
Well, definitely from a money perspective, I doing some different types of strategies in terms of profit and profit margin, and I'm kind of shifting my focus and understanding of all of that to focus a little bit more on like wealth building, which is something that's just kind of a little tangential, but it's been nice to kind of like have people.
Not at all.
Yeah, I know, but like I think that I was like, oh, but this is kind of like the phase that I'm in, and I can start thinking about this and like doing things that I never have done before. But now I have people to like bounce ideas off of and get like what they do and why they do it and how it's worked out and all that kind of stuff. So really, really excited about that.
What do they do and why do they do it?
Well, I'm actually in the process of buying my first.
See, this is what you get for giving me so much shit about it.
I know. Now you put me in the hot seat. Like, stop.
No, I'm genuinely curious because I think that as travel advisors, we're all entrepreneurs. Yeah. We're all business owners. But it's a very, very, very small percentage of, and I can't even say us, of travel advisors who are beyond the point of scraping by.
Right.
And who are to a point that there is surplus in which a conversation about wealth building as an entrepreneur could be had.
Yeah.
I don't think it's talked about enough.
Yeah. And I think that like, I want to expand my idea of what's possible and also start to be really smart and savvy with, hey, if I like take this, even this level of success that I can say I'm at right now, but like do something with it, that feels really good. And I just have never like, it always has just been kind of like not that big of thinking. And I'm trying to like think bigger now and kind of expand what's possible. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm on my own buying a short-term rental, hopefully in the next couple of months. And like learning all about that and kind of like, I don't know anything. I literally know nothing. So there's a lot of things that I,
Well, you know how to market it.
heck yeah. Yeah, so there are a lot of things that I think just entrepreneurship in general has a lot to offer. And we can be part of that conversation, even in the travel, like as a travel entrepreneur, like having a, being a travel advisor and having this type of business, we can still be people who like do big things if that's what you want to do, earn a good income, have great like profit margins, like all of that is still possible, even if it's not like highly probable in terms of like the averages or whatnot.
I don't really
Yeah.
care about the averages.
Yeah. Yep.
That's not anything I ever worry about. But I guess what you're saying is like the wealth building that they're talking about is typical wealth building, like purchasing a short term
Yeah.
rental, for example. It's just that they're all of these business owners are in a place that there is cash to do such a thing.
Right.
And so now the conversation is how do we best
Right. Because even when I'm
leverage
like
this for
figuring out my
ourselves?
numbers, it's like, okay, what is the profit margin in your business? What should it be? Like, what do you want it to be? What are you going to do with the profit that like is there outside of, take 10 more trips next
So
year?
let's talk about profit as a travel advisor for a
Yeah.
second, because tell me if you have had different conversations with travel advisors, but most travel advisors I know are taking like all the money comes in, they pay their expenses, and the rest goes to them. And there's not necessarily a mechanism that is like profit for the business that isn't being paid to expenses and that's not being paid to the owner. And that's what you're describing right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, so number one, the way just however my business is set up, and I think there's others that this isn't like a new thing or like a crazy thing, but like being set up as an LLC and then filing as an S corp, that I get a paycheck. So technically, even though like say if I'm just kind of like looking at all my numbers and doing some sort of like profit first, analysis on it and what have you, I can still consider like what I pay myself and also the overall profit of the business like in one lump. Like technically it all is still like quote unquote mine, but for the way that kind of I run my business, it's like my paycheck comes through, I'm a salaried employee of my business. And so when I'm like expenses, all of my business expenses, what is set aside for additional taxes that I might owe, and then also what profit is after all of that, that's like outside of like what I'm paying myself as a salary. And that's the thing that like in terms of what gets reinvested into the business versus what gets given, to build wealth or do whatever I want to do, like that's the decisions I get to make off of that type of that part of the increase.
Right. Yeah.
So
Would you seek out another experience like this in the future? Like, have you felt that it's really valuable and that you've really
that's a good
gotten a
question.
lot from it?
Honestly, what I think I want now, I do find value in like the mastermind approach, but I'm also very, very picky in that the fact that I'm not picking the people who I'm surrounded with. And that's a little bit, I think I want, if I can find the right type of just personal business coach, almost somebody who like is my board of advisor, even if it's just one person, but that like I bounce ideas off of, they give insight, they hold me accountable, but it's just like a more of a one-on-one relationship long term. I think I could benefit from that a lot at this point. I can keep things status quo on my own. I know what I'm doing. I'm almost 10 years in and I know how to stay steady and how to be profitable. But the next levels, like and it's all kind of relative in terms of like, phase of life and what seems like what I'm willing to kind of like sacrifice for growth and all of these things. I'm still very like committed to this idea of a peaceful profit, like loving the energy that life gives me right now in terms of like my work-life balance. I'm really kind of like, yay that. So I don't want to give that up, but I also want to push myself in ways where it's nice to not have to like hustle, struggle anymore, but push myself appropriately. And also get a vision that I might not even see, you know?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm always seeking from any type of a coaching or a mastermind um, type of environment is like I push myself borderline too much as it is. So I don't necessarily need to be pushed. I'm looking for ideas and perspectives that I would have never gotten to on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, oh, I've never thought about it that way. We're like, whoa, we're looking at the same lump sum of money and the way that someone's thinking about it or how to maximize assets or the value, like just a totally different like thought process. Like, that's what I'm always trying to like seek out is that type of opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just really waiting for alignment in terms of, that's a big investment most of the time. So finding the right alignment and being in the right place to do the right thing with it also um, is important. But yeah, I think that's the next thing I'm going to just like put out in the universe, so to speak, of, hey, I'm open. What is out there for me?
Are there any big or small changes coming to Milk and Honey next year? Just based on all of this thinking of yours?
I think I am not big changes. I think I am kind of comfortable in scaling a 4-person team, including myself, to what I think we can handle. So a lot of like marketing and messaging, honing in on that and being really intentional on that is a lot of like my personal time and being just really locked in. I have recently built out like this whole ClickUp, whatever, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be the most organized person on the planet. This is just so great seeing it all like work and be every single detail like possible, like have, its place. And it just seems like, okay, this is going to be really cool. But yeah, for next year also, I think I'm getting like a little bit of grace for team members coming back with 2 kids under 2. Like, listen. And
Well, we know
we
what
know
it's like.
some people have like some lofty aspirations and they're gonna get a wake-up call. So I think that yeah, next year can't be too big of a push because we're gonna have to kind of like settle back in and find our rhythm and figure out like what it all looks like. So I am learning. I think the last time we talked, the one thing that I think probably nobody knows how to like, not nobody, so many advisors are like, how do you delegate the literal like yourself essentially, like the consult calls, sales calls, the ability to close a client in a way that is in alignment with your brand and your vision and take that trip and know like what direction it's supposed to go. Like who can do that better than you, like for your own clients, so that all that to say, it is going to be part of my 2026 plan to learn how to do that better and also to analyze who can do it. Because if it's not somebody that's currently on my team, that's okay. They still have a place, but I'm going to try to say, how close can I get this to being like, damn, that's good. You're on point with, your way of doing this. And can that be something that is, again, delegated appropriately and successfully? And if I don't have that person on my team, then I'll just take note of that.
And potentially find a new salesperson for your team as well.
Yeah.
I used to think that because we started by ourselves and we did everything by ourselves, I used to think that I am really looking for someone like us. But the more I've hired and trained multiple people to support, my team and my agency, I think it's like they're just very different skill sets. And when we are wearing all the hats as a solo entrepreneur, we're not doing everything well. We're doing everything because we have to, right? But I think, I mean, would you agree that this person who's going to come in and sell, like, they need to be more of a salesperson than a detail, click up, like super task forward person. They almost need to be more of like a client relationship salesperson.
Exactly. And I think that is for sure a skill set. And it's interesting because, again, looking outside of our industry, my friend Jasmine, she has like this new program that is like, it's called Consistent 10K. So essentially, it's a program for small business owners, entrepreneurs who want to start consistently making 10K a month with whatever it is that they do, right? So it's really kind of like finding your way to consistency and like knowing the profit that you offer and having the ability to replicate that month over month over month. And it is like, we all have the different ways where we get tripped up, but like this is the program she's offering. But instead of, and obviously like her ability to reach people is like far bigger than ours, but what she did was build out a sales team to sell this program. So she builds the program and then she learns how to sell it herself. Like, how do you do a successful sales call to understand the problem, to understand their pain points, to understand what they're actually looking for, and get them to the point of understanding that this is the solution that they're looking for, and then teach that to people who can just do that day in and day out and close people because they know the process. And so it's literally like the thing. And while it's not completely the same thing as travel, there's definitely overlap in understanding. Like if you can show people and they're good at it, right? So like, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is what you have to pull out from the people on the other end of the call and really understand about what they're looking for. And then those people are just really, really great at doing the thing, then yeah, you can outsource it. You can delegate it. You can, have people on your team that this is the job that they do. And so I'm like, okay, exciting.
Well, now my wheels are spinning. Yeah, because this is why I can't post. I mean, back to the beginning of our conversation. Everything that you're describing is why I'm not on videos posting on Instagram. Is because I'm still that person. And there isn't anyone on my team who can step in and be that person while I'm traveling.
Yeah. So the goal when and if you ever want to have somebody like this on your team, and I think the difference is this is not the IC model, as we kind of like should make clear. It's not the IC model, whereas they can do that thing, but then that is their clients and they are, you're passing them off, but then they're no longer your clients. It's literally the idea of hiring somebody to do this for your business and your book of business and your clients. They are still your clients and they're just doing this part of the client journey.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's keep chatting about this as you think about this and as this evolves. And now I'm going to go think about this because I think that this has always been there and I have not fully seen the path of how to do it or that. I don't want to say that it's not possible. Obviously, it's possible. There are a lot of really talented people in our industry selling travel, both business owners and employees alike. But until now, it has felt almost like a insurmountable mountain. I'm just like, I don't even know where to find that person, how long it's going to take them to feel comfortable to be on client calls. We're like, I don't even know. And so I just kind of am like, well, that's not what I'm doing. That's kind of like been my energy around this. And now you're kind of bringing me up to the surface and making me think more about it.
And it all has to do with like, the goals for your business, the way you define success, and also just like the freedom you want to create within your own life and year and what have you. Because the truth of the matter is, it is far more difficult to stay consistent when you're like, hey, the only way it can happen is me. But if I can't do it, then it's like a stop. It's a shutdown. Like that is a tricky thing. It keeps us on and needing to be available at all times. Or we stop business and that doesn't feel good. Like, I don't want to stop business when I'm in Spain for 6 weeks,
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you for letting me put you in the hot seat unannounced. I know you love that.
Well, everybody, make sure you follow Undiscovered Sunsets and double tap on those lovely grease posts that are heading our way. Let us know what you think, how the trip unfolded, what Whitney's perspective was. We're all looking forward to it.
Bye.
Bye.